it a certain way and you do it your way and then mess up, I don't want to clean it up. Because that was your fuck up, not mine.
Listen, I was feeling that Jake Paul was going to knock out Tank. This press conference made me feel a little bit more confident about Tank. I'm no cap.
He done a lot in his career, right? Not everything, but he done a lot. What people don't understand is his business is a lot.
All right, guys, let's get into it. This fight isn't about who's tougher. It's about who's smarter when the pressure hits. Jake Paul walks in with that wild confidence, but Tank Davis? He's got the silence of a predator. Every move, every smirk from Tank tells you he's already visualized Jake on the canvas. This isn't hype. It's personal, and you can feel the storm building.
Within my company, within my team. Do it my way. Because if you mess up, I don't mind being a janitor to clean up the mess because I told you to do it a certain way. But if I tell you to do it a certain way and you do it your way and then mess up, I don't want to clean it up. Because that was your fuck up, not mine.
Jake Paul came up from YouTube to boxing glory, but this time, he's not fighting a showpiece opponent. He's fighting a man built in the fire of real wars. Tank doesn't chase headlines, he creates knockouts. Jake's strength is marketing. Tank's strength is destruction. When you put those two in one ring, it's not content, it's chaos waiting to explode.
And number 3, the retirement.
I mean, the backlash is just what people do nowadays. That's just, you give somebody a keyboard, you give them a phone, and they able to hide their face. Yeah, they're gonna have a field day. The backlash I get, I understand. What'd you say, number 2, not fight Shakur?
Yeah, he's saying he'll never fight Shakur, that he ain't gonna do him no favors, that he ain't gonna help him make no money because Shakur broke or something like that. Something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't get all that. That's, you know what I mean? That's against the game. Like, you know what I mean? You at least owe that fight for the game. You know what I mean? You owe the rematch to Lamont for the game. But you owe Shakur for the game just because of the 2 style matchups. You know what I mean? But if he feel like he don't gotta fight him, guess what? We can't sit here and just go crazy about him. But it is.
Listen up. That leaked sparring footage changed everything. You can hear the pop of gloves, the echo of power shots. Jake looked sharp, no doubt, but Tank? He looked surgical. The way he closed distance, the way he read Jake's body language, it's like watching a sniper lock on his target. Everyone who thought Jake had this in the bag started rethinking real quick.
He done a lot in his career, right? Not everything, but he done a lot. What people don't understand is his business is a lot. This whole experience is a lot. The shit these fighters go through is hard to explain. It's hard to explain because people, they can't see it, so they can't understand it. But it's stressful to the fighters because they coming from just getting ready to fight in the amateurs, being prepared, going out there, win, get it done, celebrate. All right, we back to the next camp. To now, marketing. You're talking about marketing. You're talking about lawyers. You're talking about all this shit that you just never imagined. You like, why do I have to deal with all of this shit? People trying to keep money coming in, so they trying to come up with bright ideas. At the same time, you got a lot of people trying to get.
The press conference told the whole story without a single punch thrown. Jake tried to clown Tank, play the entertainer, but Tank wasn't laughing. He just stared with calm, collected, like a man who already wrote the ending. You could see Jake's energy shift. That's the power of presence. Sometimes silence hits harder than a right hook.
Of nonsense. Max Kellerman claims that Gervonta Davis was never a champion, that we've never been a period of time when we looked at Gervonta Davis and said Gervonta Davis is the man in that weight class. Bunch of other ridiculousness pouring out of the pie hole of Max Kellerman. Max Kellerman is one of the most biased, bought and paid for journalists that there is in the sport of boxing, and to have him back talking again on and giving his opinion again about the sport of boxing, I promise you is not a good thing. But let's analyze what he had to say about Gervonta, that Gervonta was not ever a champion. That is ridiculous because Gervonta Davis was a champion for the IBF at 130. He was a WBA super champion at 130. He is currently the reigning WBA champion at 135. And there is no other champion in the division for the WBA at the moment. He is the only WBA champion that there is at 135. He had a portion of a secondary. The title at the time he won it at 140 was a secondary title. So if you do not want to count that, I don't know why you wouldn't, seeing as everybody else counts that belt. But okay, fine. He's a 2-division world champion. That is more than zero, Max Kellerman. Now, looking at the idea that Gervonta Davis has never been the man in that division is absolutely ridiculous because Gervonta Davis has really been the man in that division the entire.
Now here's where it gets wild. The betting odds flipped overnight. Analysts who were calling Jake the favorite started switching sides. Why? Because the tape doesn't lie. Tank's training footage looked like war drills, while Jake's camp seemed more like a content shoot. And when a fighter stops treating it like a fight, that's when he gets humbled.
Knockouts. People like knockouts. They don't care if you're knocking out cab drivers. Look at Jake Paul's career.
You can manufacture that though. You can manufacture that though. You can manufacture knockouts.
You can't manufacture.
To a degree, you can. To a degree, I mean, you can. Yeah, Gervonta legitimately can not get knockouts. I agree. He can punch, but there's a lot of limited knockout artists though, man.
He's one of the least active punchers in the game with the highest knockout percentage of current heavyweight.
But if he was a real knockout artist,
champions.
If he was a real knockout artist, prop him up against the best of the best. Felix Trinidad was a knockout artist. He was knocking out the best of the best. If you're a real knockout artist, prop him up against the best and show us how he smokes them. But the way
Paulie,
Wayne did when Felix Trinidad was doing it. You know, the way when Mike Tyson was doing it in his prime. Okay, say what you want about the Mike Tyson era. He knocked out everyone from 1986 to 1989. Everyone got knocked out. Everyone.
Well, by your standard, you could say that Tyson was to a degree manufactured.
No,
and
because
Teddy
he fought everyone that was there. Everyone that was there at that time fought.
Teddy Atlas will 100% agree with this
with the expense of Witherspoon.
That were afraid of him.
With the exception of Witherspoon. No, but they all, doesn't matter. He knocked them all out. There was nobody you could say in that era except maybe Witherspoon, who I contract contract issues with King at the time. Except for Witherspoon, there is nobody Tyson didn't fight in that era. He knocked them all out. You can't say like, oh, but if he would have fought that guy, I don't know. No, with Davis, there's guys right now that have been hanging around for years. Yo, dude, when are you going to fight them? The lightweight division was stacked with talent. Even at 130, it had a lot of talent when he was there. Didn't fight almost any of them. So it's not the same thing as the Tyson era. You want to say anything about Tyson era? Fine. It wasn't as high level or something. He still knocked out.
Fans are split right down the middle. Half say Jake's power can shock the world again. The other half say Tank's experience will drown him. But deep down, every real boxing head knows power means nothing without timing. And Tank's timing? It's deadly. He doesn't rush. He calculates. And when he fires, there's no escape.
Listen, I was feeling that Jake Paul was going to knock out Tank. This press conference made me feel a little bit more confident about Tank. I'm no cap. I know Tank wasn't saying much, fumbling over his words, seems bashful, but I'm looking, right? And I'm just like, bro, he doesn't feel that Jake Paul is an issue. Even though he said it, he doesn't feel like he has to whoop his ass. He doesn't feel threatened. That's the word. He doesn't feel threatened, but he does feel out of his element. I'm gonna be honest, man. It sounds like, I know everybody's looking at this press conference and it's like, number one, I know what y'all saying. It's a clown show. It's not real. Tank was paid off, is fake. Cause Tank, when he was talking about Jake and JB, even I was like, what is he talking about?
He laughing.
What are you talking about? What does he have to do with this?
Let anything, you know what I'm talking about. Let anything. No, I don't have to say it right now. Don't worry about it. I don't got to say it up here. Let anything happen. And I'm going to show you and him.
So that I could understand if that's your concern. I am being extremely truthful with how I feel about this and how I'm reacting to this. My oldest son was like, I see the same thing, Dad, but you're going to get a weird response to your take.
Jake's team is pushing the narrative of youth, size, and social reach. But this ain't Instagram. This is the hurt business. Tank's been through blood, sweat, and knockouts. He's tasted fear and fed on it. When you step into that ring against a man like him, hashtags won't save you, only heart and hands will.
So many people that are known where you can get somebody and they can sell tickets to events. That's what kicked off the social media influence boxing that Jake Paul was birthed from. Now we're in a vacuum. And so there's going to be a lot of conversation about that and continuing to do that. In this particular video, though, I want to get into the mind of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and why Floyd Mayweather Jr. would do this. There is the money, but there's also the competitive nature of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and him not wanting to have other people think that they're a bigger star than he is. Floyd Mayweather Jr. has not been able to really launch his star outside of the sport of boxing, so he continues to do exhibitions. Now, what I think is that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is announced it at this point in time with Mike Tyson in order to take advantage of the publicity heading into the Gervonta Davis, Jake Paul fight, which is, I do believe, set for November. So now that they have all the publicity and all that stuff coming out from that, he's going to piggyback on it and then try to have it in the beginning of next year sometime and actually make it a bigger event than Gervonta versus Jake Paul. And it probably will be. And the reason that I say that is because of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is bigger than Floyd. Let me say Mike Tyson. I think Mike Tyson is bigger than Floyd Mayweather. I still think his name is bigger than Floyd Mayweather, even though I know Floyd has made more money in the pay-per-views. And I think that had a lot to do with, again, social media area and otherwise. But the combination of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Mike Tyson and the question about what is going to happen in that fight.
You know what's crazy? Jake's confidence might be both his weapon and his curse. He believes he can beat anyone, and that belief fuels him, but it also blinds him. Tank's been underestimated before. Every fighter who thought they could walk him down ended up staring at the lights. History has a way of repeating itself. 440 to 515. And let's not forget the mental game. Tank's calm, Jake's chaotic. Pressure exposes what's real. When that first bell rings and the crowd's roar fades into silence, there's no script, no camera cuts, just instinct. And between these two, instinct favors the one who's lived through the fire, not the one who films it. 515 to 550. So when November 14th comes around, remember this: hype fades, but truth stays. This fight isn't about celebrity. It's about survival. Jake wants validation. Tank wants domination. And when those gloves touch, all the talk, all the theatrics, all the brand deals vanish. Only one question remains: whose reality will collapse first?